Farts. It's me again. Welcome to another vlog. This is another continuation. Go watch the other vlogs if you haven't already. You probably didn't watch any of them, and I don't really give a shit. But I was talking about basically this new phone, and that it's definitely been over the past, well, I don't even remember when this phone came out. I've had it at least 3 weeks now, and I just finally got a case for it so I can go out and use it, bring it with me, make videos and all that good stuff. So I gotta say, farts, this is definitely hands down probably the best camera, best phone yet. I don't know if it's better than my iPhone's camera, but the thing that I love about this is that it has a hole punch cutout in the front instead of that stupid notch. So that's why this is my main phone, at least until the iPhone 14s come out, and then I'm gonna get the iPhone 14 Pro or Pro Max, assuming that they finally got rid of the notch and they have some sort of hole punch solution, which everyone is saying they will. So if that's the case, I'm probably gonna get it, and I'll be sure to make a lot of videos on that new iPhone when I get it, including a lot of test quality videos, even though, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if I'm already at 1,000 stupid videos by then, because when I get to 1,000 videos on this channel, I'm not going to go beyond that. I really don't want to milk the series any farther than that like I did in the past. I really don't. So, anyway. So from my experience with this phone, super blazing fast. I mean, I've never really had a problem with any of the top tier phones. The Galaxy S20 was like almost perfect. I'm gonna say almost perfect, but I had like a couple little petty, like super petty things that I kind of wish were changed. And then when the S22 came out, which is basically an incremental upgrade over the S21, I skipped the S21 because it just seemed too much of a downgrade, and it had a plastic back, which I don't really care about. I don't care about what the material is because I always have a case on my phone anyway. But when I think of having a plastic back on my phone, it makes me think of a cheap phone, like something that I would pay $100, $200, maybe $300 for. But when I'm paying top dollar for a top tier phone, I would expect whatever top tier. I would expect top tier quality. I would expect glass on the back. Glass isn't exactly expensive, but it's more luxury. Plastic just, when you think of plastic, it just seems cheap. It just makes me think of China. Even though it's like, don't lecture me on that. I know everything's made in China. Give me a break. But the whole point I'm trying to make is when it's made of plastic like that, it just feels cheap. That's the point that I'm trying to make here, is that it feels cheap. And with glass, like when the S22 came out, they did it right. They really did it right, farts. And that's when I decided, even though I don't need a new Android phone because my S20 was more than enough. It was fine. There was absolutely nothing wrong with it. I loved that phone. But the reason why I got the S22 is because everything about it, the design, the hardware, everything, it just seemed perfect. Like all of the little super petty things that I wish that the S20 changed, they changed it. They made it flawless with the S22. So I feel like that's the reason why I got the S22, is that it's all of these little incremental changes. It's perfect. All of those little petty gripes that I had with the S20, they're gone. Like some of those petty little gripes is like the look of the camera. Like the look of the camera was all right, but I kind of wish that, you know, with all these other phones that are out, I kind of wish that the camera looked more like those. And now the way this camera looks, it looks really awesome. It looks really premium. It has this brushed aluminum kind of thing with 3 big lenses. And I'll have to show you exactly what this camera looks like. You've probably already seen what the Galaxy S22 looks like, but I'll probably just show you anyway, because it's just an excuse to make another dumb video. So I'll probably make that later whenever I feel like it. Yeah, just so the fact that all of those little improvements they did on the S22, the fact that it unfortunately has a little bit less RAM, it has a 1080p screen instead of a 2K resolution screen, those are really my only two little problems that I don't like about it. But this phone is still so fast as it is that I feel like 8 gigs of RAM on a smartphone is probably the sweet spot. It really is. You know, I mean, 12 gigs of RAM, I feel like is future proof. I think it's kind of overkill, which my S20 had 12 gigs of RAM. But I think 8 gigs of RAM, which supposedly the iPhone 14 Pros are going to have 8 gigs of RAM, so it's going to be in line with my Android phone. Yeah, it's really shocking to hear that the iPhone might finally have the same amount of RAM as a lot of top Android phones. Because over the years, like, the iPhone has always skimped out on the RAM. I don't know why. It's like back the iPhone had like 1 gig of RAM, and all these other top tier Android phones had 4 gigs of RAM. And then like all these other phones that had 8 and even 12 gigs of RAM, and the iPhone still only had 4. Like, give me a break. That's the only serious thing that I wish that they would catch up on, but it looks like they're finally going to catch up with that with the iPhone 14 Pro. 8 gigs of RAM. I really hope that that happens. Damn it. That'd be the perfect amount of RAM, because I feel like at this point in time, 8 gigs of RAM sounds like the perfect amount for a flagship phone. But having less RAM, like I said, really hasn't made any difference. It has not stuttered or acted choppy. Everything loads just as fast, if not even quicker. So I really have zero complaints about this phone. So I feel like as long as I don't break it, I don't crack the screen or anything like that, or if anything like that doesn't happen, then I feel like since this phone is practically perfect, in my opinion, I am probably not going to get another Android phone for a really long time. Because, like, I just don't really see what the point is. Smartphones, just in the past couple of years, if not even longer now, I feel like smartphones have been pretty stagnant as far as, like, new functionality, like new design changes. It's mostly been pretty much the same. There's been very little change. It's just been year after year, they make like maybe a tiny little tweak to the look. They'll have a slightly faster processor, a slightly better camera. The only thing that I was waiting for them to do on Android phones is to get rid of the bezels completely, including the bezel on the bottom, even though that's already been really small on Android phones for a couple of years now. It was still a little bit of bezel. That was pretty much the only thing that I was waiting for them to finally do. And then that's when I finally decided this was a good idea to get a new phone. But especially at this point now, I feel like phones are so stagnant that there's just, what more can they do? Like when the Galaxy S23 comes out, really what can they do at this point that they haven't already done? There's really not much more that they can do anymore other than the same things that they do every year, which is slightly faster processor and a slightly better camera. And eventually, whenever the costs of storage come down, they can increase the base level storage, because right now the base storage is 128 gigs. So eventually the base storage will be 256 gigs, and then they'll eventually increase the maximum storage to probably 2 terabytes. So it's just incremental upgrades every year that should be expected, because that's just the way technology is. So at some point in the future, 1 terabyte of storage will probably be the base level storage, just like how 128 gigs is now. But I think that we're pretty close to 256 gigabytes of storage being the base model storage, because just to the fact that I got the 256 gigabyte Galaxy S22 for the same price as the 128 gigabyte. And even if you did normally, like, it was a special, I get that. It was like a pre-order kind of special, along with a free $100 pair of Galaxy Beans. So I basically got like close to $200 worth of extra stuff for free when I got this phone, which is pretty good. But even if you wanted to normally buy the Galaxy S22 in a 256 gigabyte storage option, it's only an extra $50. Storage is becoming really cheap, so that's why I feel like in the near future, probably by next year, I'm probably expecting 256 gigabyte to be the entry level storage, at least for top tier phones. For top tier phones starting next year, we're probably going to start seeing 256 gigabytes as the starting storage. Oh. Anyway, I'm gonna go home. I haven't eaten yet. It's like probably 1 or 2 p.m. or probably 3 by now. I don't even know what time it is. I don't care. I haven't eaten. I'm so hungry. Nikocado avocado would definitely not approve. I'm thirsty. I'm starving. I'll make more videos later, so stay tuned for more videos. See you, farts.